Tonight, Parliament's emergency recall labelled an attempt to abuse legislative powers in support of an alleged grant scheme for state capture, as a deputy minority whip vehemently fights off government's plan to merge the Volta River Authority with the Bui Power Authority with less than 100 days to the general elections.
If care is not taken, the information in my constituency is that the government wants to let Akosomo swallow Bui so that the government will bring all the thermal plants together and sell shares and buy them. Is this state capture? Should we allow this one to happen? Mr. Speaker, this is a serious issue and we must not overspeed with this. Mr. Speaker, laying these papers in this house will turn this emergency recall emergency state capture.
And we'll hear from the NPP majority.
We had done our homework well. I had challenged you. You have not even done that. What is this? I'm just surprised at this. Speaker, I think he's violently out of order. Violently out of order. And Speaker, you should rule him out.
And we are live in Parliament where the majority side failed in the attempt to get the House to back a motion of rescission in the desperate attempt to overturn an earlier rejection of a $250 million loan. Top Story is always brought to you by Telecel, connecting Energy's holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Tonight, Parliament's emergency recall has been labelled an attempt to abuse legislative powers in support of an alleged grand scheme for state capture. There was drama when the deputy minority whip Ahmed Ibrahim stood on the floor of Parliament screaming, demanding that the House rejects government's plan to merge the Volta River Authority with the Bui Power Authority with less than 100 days to the general elections. And this is being a day when Parliament was recalled under emergency circumstances. My colleague, parliamentary correspondent Kweku Asante, is with me in the studio. And let's place this in context. This was simply an attempt to lay some papers.
Yes, Evans, the House was recalled to deal with about 5 businesses. The Speaker of Parliament this morning whittled that down to 3. 2 loan agreements and then some tax waivers. And the Speaker of Parliament had earlier on indicated that there were certain attempts to lay some papers that he was not going to allow because it was not part. But if time permitted, he was going to deal with it. The entire day was spent on other matters, Galamsey and other issues, without going into the substance of the key issues. But just before the House was going to take an adjournment today to return tomorrow to deal with all these key issues, the government side printed an other paper addendum and brought it in to lay some papers. Among those papers, it's a bill that is seeking to merge the Volta River Authority and the Bui Power Authority into one body to be called the Ghana Hydrological Authority, the Ghana Hydrological Bill. And Ahmed Ibrahim was on his feet, insisting that this is not something his side was going to allow because his chiefs and people of Banda, as well as others in Bolibamoy, have not been consulted on this matter. They've not been paid consultation, and that he believes the real purpose for which reason government wanted to merge these 2 institutions was an attempt to sell off their assets. And this is not something he was going to allow to stand.
If we say we have 94 days to elections, Mr. Speaker, if you allow this number of papers to be laid, Ghana Thermal Authority Bill, Ghana Hydro Authority Bill, Mr. Speaker, merging all this, and you said that they will bring report, Mr. Speaker, in our next meeting. Mr. Speaker, we are all in our constituencies campaigning. 94 days to the exit of this government. What proper job, Mr. Speaker, will be done on this? The chiefs must be consulted, the people must be consulted, stakeholders must be consulted. And Mr. Speaker, I knew it was for good reason that the former President Kufuor decentralized. Now, why should we be going in the area of reconcentration? We may not bring efficiency. I want to say, Mr. Speaker, we must hasten slowly on the laying of these papers. Mr. Speaker, in this era where we have problem with even ECG and PDS, you are saying that you are going to let Akosomo swallow Bui. Mr. Speaker, where are we heading to? And why are we in a haste? Mr. Speaker, if care is not taken, the information in my constituency is that the government wants to let Akosomo swallow Bui so that the government will bring all the thermal plants together and sell shares and buy them. Is this state capture? Should we allow this one to happen? Mr. Speaker, this is a serious issue. It's a serious issue. And we must not speed with this. Mr. Speaker, laying these papers in this house will turn this emergency recall emergency state capture. Where are you in a hurry to? Is Ghana going to cease after January 7 December 2024? No. Mr. Speaker, when President Kufuor was going for 622 million from China to come and construct Bui, the books of Akosombo could not be used to go and source for the loan. Akosombo couldn't do that. That is why President Kufuor used cocoa to go and guarantee for the loan. Now the cocoa sector is collapsed. And now you are saying that you should let Akosombo swallow Bui. Oh, Mr. Speaker, we must not tread on that path. And I think the best thing for us to do, Mr. Speaker, to step these things down. When we come in 2025, you will be here, we will be here. So we take our time, consult the stakeholders. Why was the Bui Power Authority Chief Executive running away from explaining to the chiefs? The chiefs must be informed. You have taken their land to construct a dam. You have not paid their compensation. Now you are going to give the same thing to Akosombo. You have not explained anything to them. That's why, is that democracy? Is that democracy? Where are we going to? Where are we going to? Mr. Speaker, this house must help to save the good people of Bola Bamwai and Banda constituency.
At the point, from what I understand, the speaker was actually worried for his own health because of how angry and visibly shaking he was whilst he was speaking.
In fact, that is something that the majority chief whip alludes to, that this is how he speaks to on very passionate matters, and that they've asked him that his pressure could go up and he could face some health consequences. But the substance of another press response was that these were baseless claims that were being made by Ahmed Ibrahim. They were not founded on any facts or law.
Speaker, my friend and deputy whip is one of the very experienced colleagues in leadership. So I get worried and taken aback. What you've just done is surprising. Speaker, if we are to go into our orders, the inherent conditions for laying of papers is clear. It's very clear, unless you are inventing your own rules. Speaker, as and when sufficient copies are received by the table office, then they take necessary action. Is it the case that any provision, no, you are not even listening. Is it the case that any provision in the orders have been flouted? And earlier on, Deputy Leader, you signaled me and I challenged you to check at the table office. We had done our homework well. I had challenged you. You have not even done that. Speaker, we have not, this is the first reading. You can lay, yes, lay. We've not gotten to second reading where we'll look at principles. What is this? I'm just surprised at this. Speaker, I think he's violently out of order. Violently out of order. And Speaker, you should rule him out. He should rule him. I don't want to say that he hasn't checked the rules because I know he knows the rules. He's intentionally inflicting pains on the House. Why are you doing this? Honorable Ahmed, what is your problem? Speaker, he has lost it. He's out of order. He should take a break and probably catch some water, get some water and drink, and then I think he'll be fine. But he's totally out of order. This is laying, as Speaker, you rightly advised him. You told him that at a point you were worried about his health. And so I thought he would have taken a cue. He's also trying to catch your attention to inflict more wounds on us. Why? Speaker, he's totally out of order, and I urge you to rule him out so that we can make progress.
Was he ruled out?
The Speaker did not. In fact, the former majority leader of Oseche Mensah, together with the current majority leader, spoke and said he was out of order. But the Speaker of Parliament did consult with the clerk to Parliament as to whether or not sufficient copies of these bills have been made available. The explanation he gave was that The only copies that have been sent to Parliament are WhatsApp copies. The Speaker then determined that WhatsApp copies are not enough copies, for which reason that bill must be laid. And so the Speaker did not allow the bill to be laid. If tomorrow they're able to get copies of the bill in hard copies to the clerk's office, these bills will be laid and referred to the committee.
Thankfully, Ahmed Ibrahim joins us right now on the line. He's the first Deputy Minority Whip. Thank you, sir, for your time here on Top Story. So really, what's the basis of your objection to this? All I heard you say is a suspicion from the whispering grapevine of gossip and rumor that this may be state capture. How is the merging of the Water Authority with the Bui Power Authority state capture?
To begin with, let me say a very good evening to your cherished listeners. As a matter of fact, this issue of merging the Bui Power Authority and the Volta River Authority was contemplated when the Bui Power Authority was about to be established. At that time, the Akosumu Dam, that's the Volta River Authority, their books were not enough. Their books were not good enough for them to be used as a guarantee for the facility for the Bui Power Authority. And that is why, in the wise wisdom of the former President Kufuor, he chose to establish a special vehicle, and that was the Bui Power Authority as an authority, so that he will separate it from the Akosumu, that Volta River Authority, and use the proceeds of our Kuku as a guarantee to go and look for the facility to establish the Bui Power Authority. At that time, it was argued that when separate authorities are established, it will bring efficiency, it will bring effectiveness, it will bring good and dynamism in management. It will let every authority be able to use situational circumstances to manage their own affairs. As I speak to you, Bui Power Authority have their own CEO. Volta River Authority have their own CEO. The measure of the two will mean one of them will have to go. If we have any issue at Bui, we have to go to Akosomo before we can settle other issues. I speak to you.
But how is that even an issue? Many government institutions, like Parliament, you find it in Greater Accra. Why is that, and why you should be objecting to this? I mean,
what is that state capture? The essence of the state capture is this. Government wants to bring all the thermal plants together and form what we call Ghana Thermal Authority. Then bring all the hydro together to have what we have, Ghana Hydro Authority. When government wanted to do this in 2017, the CEO for Bui was Honorable Fred Owari. He argued that it was not in the good interest of Bui Power Authority for the measure. And he, at that time, inside the discussion was that government wanted to merge all the thermal plants and then float it on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Who was going to buy them? Government for government to take the thermal plants from them, the government must compensate them. And the compensation is that government will merge Bui Power Authority with Akosomo.
Ahmed Ibrahim, you talk about thermal plants. I mean, Bui isn't a thermal plant. Mr. Ibrahim.
Bro.
Yeah, Bui isn't a thermal plant.
Bui is hydro.
Yes.
And Akosomo is demanding for Bui as a compensation because they have spent money on the thermal plants. This is insider information they've told us. So the workers in Bui Power Authority are not happy with the measure.
But that
is why the former CEO, Fred Owari, kicked against it when Boachi Agyapong was there. And Metropoko Prempeh is no longer the energy minister. Why should he be lobbying MPs to agree on the measure?
I mean, and I made the point to you.
He's not a running mate. And he should focus on his running mate.
He is no longer
He's no more the minister for energy. And therefore, Metropoko Prempeh should not be interested in lobbying MPs to agree on the measure.
Have you been lobbied?
Yes, my members on the energy committee were lobbied by Metropoko Prempeh this morning. And clearly, this issue was not part of the recall. And if you listen to the speaker said it was just a WhatsApp message. Why in a rush? What is Metropoko Prempeh's interest? And why is it bringing a WhatsApp message that we use WhatsApp to send a bill? Since when? How did we get here?
So let's
government going to be dissolved tomorrow?
Let's clarify a few things. You claim that your members on the minority side were lobbied this morning by Metropoko Prempeh.
Right.
You were not lobbied.
don't forget, I'm a deputy minority chief whip.
Yes,
And don't forget, Matthew Popo Prempe, when he was nominated as a running mate, did not want to leave the energy ministry until we decided that we will not be part of the vetting of the Minister of State and the Minister of Energy. Even the Minister of State and the Minister of Energy, Albert Kampa, was accepted, vetted by the minority and agreed by the minority. Before Popo Prempe himself resigned.
Yes.
What is his interest at the Minister of Energy?
No, but you haven't given any evidence to support the allegation that people were
What
lobbied.
evidence again do you have when my members have been lobbied by him even today?
And I'm saying that he lobbied everybody else by yourself. Why?
I'm a deputy whip, and he knows I'm one of the stakeholders. Because when the news broke out, the chief in the Bana Traditional Authority called a traditional authority meeting and called the Bui Power Authority's chief executive officer, Mr. Kofi Jamasi, that this is what we are hearing from Parliament. Come and brief us. After all, you've taken our land. We've given you the land. You have not compensated us. Issues that have to be settled have not settled. Now you are going saying that you are going to use the Bui Power Authority to compensate Akosombo. His answer was that he didn't believe it was true. And therefore, if the chief wanted anything, they should write to the regional minister or the district chief executive.
Yeah, but
if a chief executive officer at Bui is not privy to this meeting, what are you telling me?
Yeah, but
what was he hiding?
Ahmed Ibrahim.
And you think government can make Bui Power Authority and Water River Authority without
but Ahmed
the
Ibrahim,
notice and notification
I know
the chief executive officer of Bui?
I know you're very passionate
How
about
is
this.
it possible?
I know you're very passionate about this, but it'll help to also listen. I mean, I saw this play out on the floor today. The speaker was
Why
actually.
Is it that the CEO of Bui didn't want to reveal every information to the chief in Ghana?
Ahmed Ibrahim, it'll be helpful to also listen, and because you've made a point that people were lobbied today. You haven't provided any evidence to that. And by the way, lobbying is not illegal. What is wrong with lobbying?
Part of our recall. It was when the book came and lobbied them that they brought other people at then do.
But the Speaker of Parliament, at the point, allowed this conversation to happen. So you're saying that the Speaker of Parliament is not in on this?
He was notified that they brought it. And when the issue was said, he sent for evidence. And the evidence revealed that it was a WhatsApp copy.
So that is why it wasn't late today.
And he said,
that is why it wasn't late today, because of the lack of adequate copies of this particular piece of legislation that would have promoted the merger of the VRA and the Bui Power Authority. But fundamentally, though, all you've said is that there is suspicion that this is part of a grand scheme to merge. Substantively, though, beyond the suspicions you have, what is wrong with merging the Water River Authority with the Bui Power Authority to make it into one institution? That is definitely going to reduce the burden on the state purse. Hello, Ahmed Ibrahim. I may have lost him down the line. But this is obviously something he's very passionate about for his people in that constituency. He says people were lobbied today, alleging that they were lobbied by the former energy minister. He himself, though, although he is the minister, he's the member of parliament for the area that will be directly affected, appears not to have been lobbied on this particular matter. Today, though, the substantive reason why parliament had been recalled, or the three main reasons, one of them, the main one, revolves around some $250 million that the government wanted Parliament to approve. This was rejected before Parliament went on recess under very controversial circumstances. The majority leader today attempted to get the House to move a motion of rescission to try and get the House to overturn that particular rejection. And Kweku joins me. Kweku, this also didn't quite pan out the way the majority leader had hoped today.
Well, yes, first, the majority leader did move the motion, citing the standing orders, for which reason he wanted the House to go back on that decision that the House took in rejecting that on the last day of sitting in the last meeting. According to the majority leader, he was really founded on the standing orders of the House and other applicable rules, for which reason he wanted the House to go back on that decision.
First, the Finance Committee, by consensus, had tabled before this House a report, upon which the House has come to a conclusion during the current session, except on a substantive motion for rescission. And the content and the form of my application as couched to the effect that I want a rescission fall squarely within this provision, because I cannot raise a question of this matter once the matter is dealt with. This house is fontus. We cannot come back. There is an estoppel provision there, except to say, Mr. Speaker, that I would have to come by this motion, and that is why I have come by this motion. Mr. Speaker, on the details of this application regarding the attachment, which will be the subject matter of this clarification.
And quickly, the fundamental reason why this $250 million was rejected the last time before the Parliament went on recess was because of the allegation that had been made by Mensah Mubarak that some $19 million of the $250 million was going to be used for consultancy.
Yes.
Today, he got some clarity on this matter because the chairman of the Finance Committee, Patrick Boama, gave some additional documentation to support the argument that it isn't 90 million. It's actually far less than that.
Yes. So Patrick Boama, seconding the motion to rescind that decision Parliament took, did explain. He had a sheet of paper with a breakdown of what the 90 million was going to be used for. And they are going to use a huge chunk of that, according to the majority side, to purchase meters for the electricity company of Ghana, and that all that amount was not going into consultancy, as Muntaka had said then, which had formed the large basis for which reason the loan was rejected. Muntaka then is given the opportunity by the Speaker as to whether or not he is satisfied with the explanation that have been given. And he said at the time that although per the breakdown that has been given, about 10 million was still going into consultancy, he was satisfied with the answers given.
Because apart from a total of about 11 million or 10 million for consultancy, you have others like supporting to roll out clean cooking program. What is that going to entail? If you add all those little things that have been mentioned again and again, you see that a total of almost close to 40 million may be going into the non-core. And Mr. Speaker, we should not be allowing them to give us a loan and detect some of these things that does not add direct benefit. Because even though it may look concessionary, like I said the other time, Mr. Speaker, we will pay for it. And therefore, we must ensure that the very details of what it entails is known, so that when it comes to oversight, Parliament can play its oversight properly. Mr. Speaker, with this comment, I want to add that, yes, with this breakdown, that clearly shows that consultancy is not going to take the chunk of the 94 million, but it's going to take only about 10 million. Even though I agree the consultancy 10 million is still very high, at least that's giving us some indication, an indicator that we can monitor to ensure that about 84 million of the 94 million, as stated that day, are going into meters and other things, even though I see some of them as, in my view, non-core. With this, Mr. Speaker, I will urge my colleagues, especially on Finance and Energy Committee, to ensure that in oversighting, we ensure that this breakdown is implemented. Because once they've given us this, in the implementation, it should follow same. With this, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to contribute. Thank you very much.
So he's happy.
Well, yes, he seemed really excited by the explanation that had been given. But then his leader and others came in and said that given that this information is yet to be vetted and verified in the way they want, and this is just a piece of information that was coming on the floor by the chairman of the Finance Committee, they believed that this matter must be referred to the Finance Committee to do a good job on that. In fact, at some point, the majority leader wanted that done in 30 minutes or so. The minority side insisted that quite some time needed to be taken on this matter, for which reason the Speaker obliged and made that referral. So, Councillor Atufos, the minority leader, clear in his stance that that report must go back to the Finance Committee.
I do not have with me a full complement of the loan agreement that was rejected. I do not have with me the project appraisal document. And it's until you have that document that you can reconcile these numbers. to be able to confirm the position that Honorable Muntaka has raised. Mr. Speaker, that is important. That is important. If the ranking member was surprised with this information, Mr. Speaker, probably, his views on this matter may be different. But until he gets information, for him to be able to adequately cross-check in the document that he's asking us to rescind, Mr. Speaker, it will be very difficult for members of the Finance Committee to take a decision that will guide this House. Mr. Speaker, I suggest that this House goes with the Honorable Jenapo's position, that this document, this sheet of paper, A4 sheet of paper, be now referred to the Finance Committee, for the Finance Committee to immediately meet. Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure this will take them long, but they will have to do some due diligence to confirm that indeed the $90 million that Honorable Muntaka raised, the number that he raised earlier, does not reflect the details of the loan agreement. Mr. Speaker, at this stage, it's so difficult for us to confirm, and I do not believe that we can do that on this floor. And so I urge that the matter be referred to the Finance Committee, for the Finance Committee to be able to do their job and report appropriately.
So that there is Case Latofo, so he's a minority leader. We would come to what we heard after this, because some senior members of the minority side actually disagree with this particular approach. And then the Speaker also then intervened on this matter. Remember, this, in the list of things to be considered during this emergency recall, this is number one on that list. And Kweku will give us some context. But I have with me back Ahmed Ibrahim, who joins us again. He's the first Deputy Minority Whip. He was with me on the subject of the merger between the Volta River Authority and the Bui Power Authority, which was a substantive matter of controversy on the floor today that he had vehemently opposed. You've heard him screaming there on that matter. He joins me right now. And I lost you earlier, and I really wanted to drill down to your fundamental disagreement with the merger. This is coming at a time when both parties agree, your party and the MPP agree, that the size of the government bureaucracy is too large. And if you can merge state institutions to reduce the burden on the state, you must do so. So what really is the fundamental disagreement?
The fundamental point of disagreement is that reconcentration or excessive concentration also brings about bad governance. And if care is not taken, merging Bui Power Authority and Volta River Authority would rather bring high level of bureaucracy, because any document that you send to Bui, unless they have to bring it to Akosomo for the CEO to approve before approval will be given. But now that both are separate, there's quickness in decision taking. There's efficiency in management. The level of responding to the issues and matters concerning Bui Power Authority is quick. And therefore, we are saying that we are vehemently opposed to the merger. Secondly, in terms of efficiency, Bui Power is higher than Akosomo. Simply because if you look at what they are doing at Bui, we started with 400 megawatts of hydro. Now they have added about 100 megawatts of solar. And they have produced the biggest solar farm in the whole of West Africa. Now they've taken quick decisions, and now they are trying to attract private sector in the kind of investment that we are attracting there. We have the Bui Sugar Factory, we have the Bui Cashew Factory, and a lot of things. I think that if we don't protect Bui Power Authority and we allow them to merge the two, Akosomo VRA will just swallow Bui, and after swallowing Bui, the mess in Akosomo or VRA, which made it impossible for us to go and grant a loan because of from the books of VRA, will continue. And they themselves are aware of that. Beyond that, the directors and the chief executive officers and the senior managers in Bui, in fact, the measure of the two will see most of them going. And I don't think in terms of local content, it will benefit us. When Akosomo was constructed, VRA, it was in 2009, 50 years later, that I saw the late President Mills paying the land compensation and other compensation to the owners of Akosomo. we was constructed in 2007. As I speak to you, the land compensation has been paid. The measure of the two will cause delayance in the land compensation. It will cause delayance in most of the entitlement that the local indigenes in Bole, Bamwe, and Bana are entitled to. So clearly, that is the fundamental issue. Then the second issue is that from the insider information from Bui Power Authority, the discussion is that the Ministry of Energy wants to merge the two. They wanted to merge all the thermal plants, Ameri power plant, car power, tea plant, and all those things to form what we call the Ghana Thermal Authority, so that they will float it on the Ghana Stock Exchange and act buy shares. Even you and I know you don't have money to go and buy shares in that. I will not have money to go and buy shares.
But as a member of parliament,
rich men who are doing this measure, who will go and buy the shares?
Ahmed Ibrahim, as a member of
capturing the energy sector.
Ahmed Ibrahim, as a member of parliament and a senior one, that you're the first deputy minority leader, you're believing in rumors without any evidence.
I believe that is why the former chief executive officer opposed it, even though his own minister was initiating the measure.
Another allegation.
When Jaco started it, Fredowari opposed it.
Another allegation you've made tonight is that some of your colleagues were lobbied. What was the nature of the lobby? Were they induced?
They were. When I say lobbying does not mean material lobbying. Lobbying means trying to convince.
Yeah, but so that's my point. That's my point to you earlier.
It's no longer the minister.
But that's my point to you earlier, Ahmed Ibrahim. So if it's simply trying to convince, what is wrong with that?
It's not what the minister for energy. What is his interest? Head of September, Opoko Prempeh resigned from the Minister of Energy long ago. What is his interest in lobbying the mess to make sure that these bills were laid, even though the hard copies were not in Parliament, sending fast-track WhatsApp copies and lobbying the mess that allow it to be laid?
But the fact that he's no longer the fact that he's no longer the energy minister, does it disable him from lobbying and speaking to colleagues on a matter that he believes in? As a senior member of this particular administration.
We are in Ghana. When you are talking about matters of Ghana, you have to know that you are talking about Ghanaians. And therefore, Matthew Opoko Prempeh, when he was nominated as a running mate, he reluctantly didn't want to resign as Minister for Energy. And Minister of Energy, he was sworn in. He was officially adorned as a running mate to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in Kumasi, even though he was doubling as a running mate and Minister for Energy at the same time. What is his interest?
I want to get some clarity.
He don't want to leave that place.
I want to get some clarity on the issues you've raised tonight. And thankfully, I've been joined by Andy Mensah. He's a former deputy energy minister. Must have been there at the time this whole idea was first moved, and he has some clarity on the matter and joins me right now. He's also the MP for Sekondi. Mr. Mensah, so why is government attempting to merge the Water River Authority with the Bui Power Authority? Why now?
Well, let me say good evening to your cherished listeners. First and foremost, I believe that we all recognize that government is the one that drives policy, okay? And so if a certain proposition is tabled, the ministry then goes through the processes of submitting it to cabinet for approval. And when cabinet deems the proposal worthy of consideration, then some formulation of the law is done and same is submitted to Parliament for consideration and approval. And so my understanding is that there's a lot of duplicity within the energy sector space. And so, for example, you have the Volta River, which has the Akosombo Dam, the Pong Dam, and also the Bui Dam, all sitting on the same river. And so it makes for efficiency that one entity manages all the assets on that river, as opposed to having two separate bodies managing those assets on that river. Okay, there's some duplicity within the work that the regulatory bodies within the energy value chain does. And so the PURC and the Energy Commission, for example, there's some level of, even though technically the Energy Commission is the technical regulator and the PURC the economic regulator, there's a lot of alignment, if you like, between the roles that both of them perform. And so the agencies themselves had indicated a need for some harmony to be rolled out. And so putting it together.
You say the agencies. You said the agencies themselves were in favor of harmony. Did that include the Bui Power Authority?
Yes.
The Bui Power Authority is in favor.
No,
of
I'm talking of the regulatory agencies,
PURC
and Energy Commission. And Evans, this was not just dreamt up. Okay, there's been a lot of consultation that has gone on. At least at the time that I was at the Ministry of Energy.
And did this include the community? The communities around the Bui area? Because that's fundamentally is Ahmed Ibrahim's concern.
But Evans, the point is this. I really don't see why the issue of the community is coming up. Because it's not as if the dam is being moved from Bui to Akosombo. The dam will still be where it is. It is just the management of that asset that is being consolidated as between VRA and Bui Power Authority to create Hydro Authority, Ghana Hydro Authority.
Is that to admit that the people indeed have not been consulted?
I wouldn't say that, but you see, there's a process, okay? So you formulate a policy and you do some level of stakeholder engagement, which I believe has been done before you submit it to Cabinet for consideration. Cabinet necessarily will require that you do some stakeholder engagement within the community-affected stakeholders, agencies involved. And so that is done, and Cabinet approves. You go to Parliament, you do the laying of the bill. The bill is then referred to the appropriate committee. The appropriate committee then does the thorough work of doing all the engagements with all key stakeholders. And I'm sure that you've worked in Parliament for some time and you know how lawmaking evolves. Okay, so it has that at that point that the extensive consultation amongst all the stakeholders, including the communities that is being suggested, would take place. What government sought to do today was to lay the bills for a referral to be made to the appropriate committee for them to then be seized with the bills to go into the detail of all the engagements that are required before a report is then submitted for debate.
So for clarity, government plans to, through the committee in Parliament, engage the people around affected in the catchment area of Bui.
Even at the ministerial policy formulation level, there will be some level of consultation.
But Ahmed says that hasn't happened. At least his people have not been consulted.
Well, I'm not in a position to confirm, because what I know is this, that even the policy formulation itself was done by the management and board of the entities concerned. And so the management and board of Bui Power Authority and VRA were tasked to formulate the policy, okay? And so that in itself is stakeholder engagement. It's not as if to say somebody sat in the Ministry of Energy and foisted this proposition on the stakeholders involved.
It appears so. I mean,
I'm saying
from
that,
what we've heard today on the floor of Parliament.
Regardless, even if there was no stakeholder consultation at this point, then I'm not in a position to confirm, because as you know, I've left the ministry since February. I'm saying that in itself doesn't mean anything, because it is not as if to say the law is being passed today. There is a process that has been outlined in the Constitution of Ghana, in the Standing Orders of Parliament, regarding lawmaking. All that it says is that when a bill is submitted to Parliament, it is read the first time, it is then referred to a committee. The committee invites memos from the public. That's a lot of engagements with the public. And so any stakeholder engagement that has not taken place already, assuming that was even the case, it's not as if to say time is bad. That necessarily will take place. So the raving and ranting with respect, that is feeding into the discourse at this point. really is unfounded.
But also it's also about
Forgive
the timing.
me, I'm not too well. Okay, and
Yeah.
that's why my voice is.
No, I mean,
down,
but you raise an important point. But it's also about the timing. With less than 100 days to go before the general elections, why now? Why? And the point he made on the floor is, why don't you wait till after so you can do the proper consultation? So whoever wins elections can have full visibility.
In responding
on what you're
to the arguments that are taking place on the floor of Parliament today, the Honourable Chairman Sabunsu made a point, and I wish to rely on that point and to say that the tenure of the government expires on the 7th of January 2025. So is it the suggestion that nothing should take place between now and then? We've lived in this country where after elections are held and won, government still made appointments and took decisions. In fact, our bauxite was signed over to Mr. Mahamad's brother on the 29th of December 2016, 9 days before he handed over. Did Ahmed Ibrahim see anything wrong with it? Did he? So it's neither here nor there. In any event, if you introduce a bill and the stakeholder processes does not conclude for the bill to pass before the tenure of the parliament lapses, the bill dies and it goes to the next government if it's so minded to proceed. That's it. How many parliaments did the Right to Information Bill survive? Many. So really, what's this argument all about?
And
they quickly move and suggest that somebody wants to take way to capture the energy sector. Through what?
An allegation was made by Ahmed Ibrahim.
I'm told that this proposal to even delink the thermal assets of VRA, okay, and privatize it, started during the time of Mr. Mahama. Okay? And you say that Ameri and Car Power, private companies, government can take over them and put it together. But of course, VRA has thermal assets. Okay? That the intent is to distinguish those assets from the hydro so that they focus on their key mandate of managing hydro. And in this case, all the hydro assets on the Volta River, so that the thermal assets can be either put on the stock exchange or privatized. I'm not so sure what the decision is because, like I said, I'm no longer the Ministry of Energy.
I mean, and that's
a
the point
that nothing untoward, absolutely nothing untoward. And I know I was there when the committees were set up, made up of the boards of these agencies to put together a policy.
And Mr. clarify for me, because that's a point. That's a point that Ahmed Ibrahim makes the point.
He didn't want to resign, and what is his interest?
And I'll come back for you to clarify that point for me in what capacity he was lobbying today. But clarify for me again. Ahmed Ibrahim makes the point that part of this whole process is to then list the thermal assets. I think you've just confirmed that. I just wanted to expand and to get clarity on this, that it will eventually, and approved by Cabinet, go onto the Ghana Stock Exchange for Ghanaians to sort of buy into. Is that a grand plan? Is that part of what the Cabinet approved?
Look, I do not have the details of the Cabinet approval at this point, okay? But I'm saying that the decision that was taken, that was approved by Cabinet, was for all the thermal assets to be put under the Ghana Thermal Authority. And then all the hydro assets put under the Ghana Hydro Authority. All the regulatory bodies put together as one, and by regulatory bodies put together as one, I mean PURC and Energy Commission, and also the distribution company, that is Gridco, VRA, ECG, and NETCO put together as one distribution company. Okay, to suggest that Dr. Prempeh was in the chamber at the time when the bill was being laid, he was not there, because I was in the chamber up to the very point that we closed or we adjourned for sitting for the day. Dr. Prempeh was not there. Of course, he had come into the chamber earlier, but he's a member of parliament. We had been recalled, and
did he or did he not lobby?
Had to attend the chamber as well, like everybody else.
Yeah, but did he or did he not?
Is the issue?
No, but did he or did he not lobby members of parliament, particularly in the minority
side? Do what?
Well, to back the merger.
But the point of lobbying members does not even arise. Because the table office that lists items on the agenda, Evans, you've been a parliamentary correspondent for years. What is the need for anybody to lobby members that a bill should be put on the other paper?
No, but beyond that, you want the House's buy-in from the minority side when it comes to the decision making.
The buy-in, we are not there.
Yeah, but you want to start.
The words of Kweku Baku, this purely is premature ejaculation.
Yeah, but you want to start.
We
early.
are not there. Look, the buy-in that you will need is during the debate, at the second reading, or at the committee hearing, where the ministry then submits all the papers, the rationale. You look at the memorandum that is attaching to the bill, and then you go into the details, and then you can come back to the floor and debate.
And very quickly,
why would anybody have the need to lobby members of parliament for a bill?
But substantively, did he or did he not lobby today, the minority side?
Look, there was no point, and so I don't see why he would do that. That's the point that I'm making.
And also, just finally, before I bring back Ahmed Ibrahim, now that you've provided some clarity on the reason for the merger, you've talked about, so we're going to have the Ghana Hydrological Authority, the Ghana Hydro Authority, and then you have the Ghana Thermal Authority.
Yes.
And the decision is that the Ghana Thermal Authority will be listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange.
Look, it's a process. At this point, the policy is to delink the assets of the thermal assets of VRA, okay, and let them focus on hydro, which was the objective of setting it up in the first place, to manage all the assets on the Volta River. That's why they have custody of Bon.
But it appears to me this is the first step. But it appears to me this is the first step in a very comprehensive restructuring of the agencies in the energy sector broadly, which will
absolutely
yes,
and that is where necessity.
And that is where the suspicion comes in from Ahmed Ibrahim that this listing on the Ghana Stock Exchange is just a ruse, this is just an excuse to get politically exposed individuals to buy and acquire the state assets.
Okay, assuming, without admitting that was even to be remotely considered as being the objective. Are we there? And why? If government wants to privatize VRA, it can do it.
And should we wait?
No, I'm coming.
Yeah, you said we are not there, but should we wait to get there before people take over? If this is part of the plan
I want to know whether if government decides for some reason that it is going to privatize VRA today, it cannot do it.
Well,
does it require splitting the assets into two? Because why?
Government can, but
divested in this
the direct question to you is this part of the plan, as has been alleged tonight, that
I'm
this
saying
is all
to you that there's no
part of the plot to get politicians to buy the state assets?
For who?
For politically exposed MPP individuals and groups.
That's a complete ruse. Red herring. No basis whatsoever for that assertion.
And I still have with me, Ahmed Ibrahim. Very briefly, you've heard the reasons for the decision that was taken by Cabinet, and there's a more comprehensive one than just merging the Water River Authority with the Bui Power Authority. Quickly, have you heard enough to allay your fears?
You see, Ivan, these kind of politicians we have in Ghana who debate based on the side that they belong to is what it is. To begin with, my good friend, Honorable Mensah, has quoted Oseche Mensah as saying that the mandate of government extends to 7 January 2025. That is true. But the same Honorable Oseche Mensah in 2016, when we wanted to pass the Right to Information Bill, was the person who said our mandate was about to expire. We should not do it. And that is why Right Information Bill was not passed in 2016, and that is why Conduct of Public Officers Bill was not passed in 2016, and that is why Affirmative Action Bill was not passed in 2016. It was the same Osebuchi Mensah as minority leader who argued that about ending this mandate, and therefore they should leave all those things and when a new government can they will do. Put that one aside. You see that the question that you put to Honorable Mensah, he himself was economical with the truth. The truth is this: VRA assets in the thermal sector. Government wants us to bring all those assets in the thermal sector and flow them. VRA argued that yes, our books are not good because of our expenditure in thermal plans. Therefore, if you want to take the thermal plans and bring them together, are you going to give us competition?
And I believe I may have lost him there. Mr. Ibrahim, can you hear me? Okay, that's Ahmed Ibrahim. Unfortunately, lost him on the line. His line wasn't great. But Andy Ejapamesa, thank you very much for that intervention, helping us appreciate the decision that Cabinet had taken as part of this comprehensive overhaul and restructuring of agencies in the energy sector. Ahmed Ibrahim is the first Deputy Minority Whip. And another point he made there, and Parliamentary Correspondent Kuku is with me in the studio, is the allegation that this paper that was attempted today, that the majority side attempted to lay today, wasn't part of the items to be considered when the emergency recall was first imagined.
Yes. The Speaker of Parliament this morning did indicate that he had admitted only 3 businesses to be done for this entire business. And the first is a $250 million IDA facility. The second is the $350 million worth of tax waivers that have been on the other paper of Parliament for several months. That is the second. And the final one has to do with the motion for rescission on the $250 million IDA financing agreement. These are the 3 items that the Speaker of Parliament admitted. But if you go into the application that was filed by the majority leadership, it included 10 bills that they intended to lay and other things. It did not also include this particular bill that is sought to lay today.
Okay, so that is confirming that it wasn't part of the list of things to look
yes.
at. But the Speaker himself, at a point, entertained it. If Ahmed Ibrahim had not raised the issues, it would have been...
It would probably been late. In fact, yes, the Speaker of Parliament in the morning did indicate that. The majority side had indicated to him that they wanted to lay some papers. And he would just... That is all he would allow, just papers. But when it gets there, he will decide. And so when the other paper addendum was brought in and all this was going on, before the attention of the members on the minority side were drawn, so Ahmed Ibrahim and also the MP for Bolibamboy all raised this issue because it affects their constituents. Before the Speaker of Parliament consulted with the clerk to Parliament, who said that the only copy that he had gotten was on WhatsApp, for which reason the Speaker did indicate that he was not going to allow it.
Before you go, though, the top item on the list of things to be considered during this emergency sitting is the approval or otherwise of this $250 million loan, right?
Yes.
It was rejected before
yes.
they went on recess. Today, the majority side attempted to overturn the rejection. They didn't succeed. They have 24 hours to get Parliament to now do that.
Yes. We understand the Finance Committee is going to meet on this. So when the majority leader moved that motion, the Speaker of Parliament wanted to take a decision on it, but then minority raised a lot of concerns. The first, John Jinapo asking that the report, this document explaining what the 94 million to be used for to be referred to the Finance Committee. This position was somewhat challenged by Harun Idris, who said the entire process was a bit irregular because rescission is not just to change the decision that Parliament has taken. It must be relayed of a sort. And then the Speaker of Parliament comes back and says, okay, he wanted this to be given now to the Finance Committee so that they can report back to the House in 24 hours tomorrow. Mind you, Parliament is sitting, emergency sitting today and tomorrow, Evans.
Okay, and there's more tomorrow. I want to stay with us here on Joy 99.7 FM, and I want to stay in Parliament a while longer because the Speaker, Alvin Barbin, is lashing out on members of Parliament and politically exposed persons for enabling illegal mining in their communities. And this comes on the heels of threats by the Ghana Water Company that it may stop water production over concerns about illegal mining, which is significantly disrupting the operations, leading to the drop in water production from 70 to 40% nationwide. Now, fishermen and farmers who once depended on the rivers for their livelihood say they are in a state of despair. We'll hear from the Speaker shortly, but let's take a listen to the excerpts of our latest hotline documentary titled Poison the Rivers, as Rita Kudunyako explores the devastation Galamsey activities have caused the people of Anglo Beach. Here are excerpts of the documentary.
Along the banks of the Pra River, Alfred Loku stands, staring at the murky water. Alfred fishes and farms here at the Anlo Beach, a community near Shamai in the western region. Alfred remembers a time when he could see the riverbed clear and swarming with fish. Now the water is a thick, toxic sludge, the result of illegal mining activities. Galamsey had turned the lifeblood of the land into poison.
When the mining was not done in the Pra River, we were using it to do all our chores, including drinking it. All we needed to do was to put in camphor. We were using it to cook and wash. Everything has been destroyed now.
First person, yet me the banana dinner. Would you see Unyama a few over to my dear sea? Upper, Musoni over to Mano. See, I be Poto aside.
Alfred laments the loss of their livelihood, describing the daily struggle to secure water for drinking and household chores as a relentless battle.
Ebi abula, bakadi asai, unuma abaha.
We now resort to wells. The lagoon here is completely destroyed. It's
Well, the Speaker of Parliament says the Galamsey situation in the country is a disgrace.
And the people you are talking to are aware. It's not that they are not aware. They are aware that some of you are participating in it. So please, first, desist from doing it yourself. Don't go to them for the money for your campaigns. Don't go to solicit their votes. Let them see you work. Truly, it's a disgrace that we've gone to this far. Look at the water. Horrible. But that is no problem. It's only expensive. Well, annually, the water we get as a country can refill all these rivers. But how do you do away with what has already been polluted? And the environment, how do you repair the damage? That is the challenge we have. But God has blessed us with so much water that on an annual basis, we get water more than what we have now.
And that's the Speaker of Parliament, and I have a more grim warning for you because the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission is warning that illegal mining could cause a surge in cancer cases if not tackled. Board Chairman of the Commission, Dr. Kweku Enin, is linking the rise in terminal disease partly to the harmful effects of illegal mining. At the launch of the Ghana Atomic Agency Commission's Cancer Awareness Project, Dr. Enin said traces of chemicals left by illegal mining can be seen in water bodies, soil, and food consumed.
Problem with cancer is it's not like malaria. When you're bitten by mosquito for 5 days, you know you have malaria or not. The cancer will show up 10, 15 years after the event. It's now getting into the food. The places that they are digging up these things, the heavy metals in the soil, if you are growing cassava, plantain, the plants are also absorbing this. So you just go and eat that, and you haven't done anything to anybody. You haven't done anything wrong. You just bought a bunch of bananas somewhere, and that's what you eat every day. And before you know it, you are sick. And then you can't find out how you got sick. Only a miracle could do this. The Galamsey will kill all of us.
It's so live here on Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. I'll be taking a few of your messages shortly. 05511111997. And it's been a year since the devastating floods ravaged communities along the Waja catchment area, leaving residents in turmoil. Despite the destruction, many remain in the buffer zones, their homes still standing in the floodplain. In Joy News Floods of Trauma series tonight, Emmanuel Jivenu went back to the community and reports.
Last year's flood was a disaster that submerged hundreds of houses, leaving many displaced and livelihoods destroyed. Wisdom Obing, a taxi driver, and his family were among those affected. The water damaged his taxi, his only source of income.
My taxi, we had to take houses small. Where the water enter inside, spoil everything. Picking 2 days inside, 4 children, so things had small, so we are not free. Do I'm right now where I live, I'm small.
We don't have anywhere to go. I'm contemplating leaving, but I don't want to be a burden on others.
Now, with the rainy season already upon them, Wisdom and his neighbors remain on edge.
Only God, only God.
The stark reality is that, despite the warnings, many residents remain reluctant to leave, clinging to the hope that this year will be different. Emmanuel Jivanu's reports read to you.
And you're still live here on Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, imagine having to cover about 26 kilometers in a wheelchair every week in your quest to access education. Well, that's the story of Isaiah Amada Ewuku, a student living with physical challenge at the University of Ghana. Now, despite Isaiah's mobility difficulties, he refuses to let anything stand in the way of his academic dreams. Enjoy News' Disabled series. Emmanuel Jivanu of our education desk shares his story of perseverance and ambition, redefining what it means to overcome obstacles. We'll hear that touching story right after George is done with business. Hello, George.
Hi, Evans. Interesting discussions on going public and listing on the Ghana Stock Exchange. I mean, what has been the practice or what we understand often when a company want to go public to give a fraction of the business by raising money from the public or maybe listing by allowing people to participate. A company would not go public by floating the entire value or everything of the company so that whoever comes in would then be able to automatically take over the entire company. So often it's just a fraction of that business.
The question you're asking is what percentage, once it's floated, will be offered to the public to buy into.
And often it won't be a controlling interest in that company if you want to look at that event. Well, coming up in business, total profits of commercial banks for half year hits more than 8 billion Ghana cedis. However, the rate of growth slowed compared to the same period in 2023. And World Bank rejected sessions that more than half of the $250 million loan to Ghana will go into consultancy. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, Syntax Tanks, and Pepsodent, Herbal, and Charcoal.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Shout! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Hooray! Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited's back-to-school promotion is here with us once again. From August to September this year, Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited is giving a generous 10 to 20% discount on all school items like textbooks, pens, pencils, erasers, exercise books, and much more across all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Takrade, Winneba, and Cape Coast. Parents, teachers, and students, please hurry while stocks last. For more information, call us on 0506 487 557 or 0302 764 209 or via email at info@kingdomgh.com. You can also visit our website www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Kingdom Books, where quality and affordability are both assured. Terms and conditions apply.
Supposed to happen when we find the reason.
We have a new leader in town. Obiarentie. Amanfo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal packed with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
Are you ready to turn your dreams into reality? Don't just dream it, own it with a loan from Fidelity Bank. Dreaming of a new home? Own it with Fidelity Mortgage Loan. Dreaming of smelling the scent of a brand new tear rubber car? Own it with Fidelity Auto Loan. Dreaming of getting the latest phone, TV, fridge, furniture, laptop or gaming console? Own it with Fidelity Consumer Asset Finance. Dreaming of expanding your business? Make it a reality with our business loan. Fidelity Bank is offering flexible loans to businesses, salaried workers and the self-employed at a competitive rate. Dial 0800 003355 or visit any of our branches nationwide today to turn your dream into reality with a Fidelity Bank loan. Terms and conditions apply. Fidelity Bank. Believe with us.
Fidelity. If I believe with us, Fidelity. If I know I day aside, Fidelity.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah.
Welcome and now for a daily star 712 hash and found no regrets. A side comma investors are a striking gold. A comma health workers are a diagnosing luck with precision. A side comma that tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. Say a comma passionate fan or also entering containing a joy. After to the seamstresser or turning a hard end stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now a comma if you say your next big win is right here.
Dial star 712 hash and join the luckiest winning celebration. From the 1st of July 2024, dial star 712 hash to keep buying tickets as a group, individual, or even as a community. Win loads of cash and prizes in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with star 712 hash. Join the winning streak now.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Luxurious affordable living is your right, and no one understands it better than BOT Properties. BOT Properties specializes in modern residential buildings and commercial office spaces. Our properties include the Equator, a 12-story made up of over 100 apartments near Accra Mall. Other Equator courts, we offer you the deluxe living experience with our top-of-the-range homes, high-quality homes built with style and precision to suit your lifestyle. The Equator Courts is a gated community with 2-story, 4-bedroom detached houses at Ogbojo, East Legon, near American House. Our office complexes include Zion House, Shiashi, East Legon, Zion House, Sofa Line Interchange, Kumasi. Our offices and apartments are for both rental and outright purchases at affordable prices and with flexible payment terms. Kindly contact us on 0257 960 919 or visit botproperties.com. BOT Properties, the new meaning of affordable luxury.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, the World Bank is rejecting sessions that more than half of the $250 million loan for Ghana will go into consultancy. The funds, which are supposed to help the energy sector, failed to get Parliament's approval at their last sitting because of some concerns. But Robert O'Brien, the country director for the World Bank, disagrees. He has been trying to give some clarity on how the whole financing will be done for Ghana.
Definitely some misunderstandings recently that were reported in the press about one of our operations in terms of the energy operation, in terms of the amounts that were going to be spent on consultants. That was simply not true. That was a misunderstanding. In all of our operations, we try to procure nationally where possible. Where the services exist, the goods exist, the construction capacity exists, we procure nationally. Where we need international expertise, we have to bring that in, because ultimately the mix of domestic and international contracts will determine how well the projects do. So where there's an expertise that's only available, in a foreign country, that will need to be brought in to achieve, again, the development impacts that we want to see in Ghana.
Robert O'Brien is the country director for the World Bank. Now, total profits of commercial banks for the first 6 months of this year witnessed some significant increase. New Bank of Ghana data puts the amount at 8.1 billion Ghana cedis, ending June this year. There is more in this report.
The Bank of Ghana data, however, showed the rate of increase compared to last year slowed. According to the Bank of Ghana, this was due to lower increases in interest income and other income lines in 2024 relative to the same period in 2023. Generally, all income lines increased but at a lower growth rate in June 2024 relative to the same period last year. Interest income increased to 18 billion Ghana cedis, representing a growth of 19.1% relative to 44.3% in June 2023. When we look at the profit after tax, it increased significantly to 5.4 billion in June 2024. The report by the Bank of Ghana showed that, despite the challenging economic environment, the banking sector was not doing that bad if one restricts itself just to the numbers.
And that is a Business Desk report. Now, senior manager at Deloitte, that is Dennis Brown, is casting doubt about the sustainability of the cedi's current stability. Now, this was after fresh data from the commercial bank showed that the cedi, for the first time this year, appreciated by 0.16% for the month of August. But Mr. Brown is worried about demand pressures for December imports could erode the recent gains.
Asking whether there's room for optimism. Yeah, I would say yes, but not much, because we are also looking ahead into the last quarter of the year, where we know that the pressure really will start mounting on the cedi because of the festivities associated with the Christmas or the end of year, festivities. So you have individuals and businesses that will be rushing in for these dollars, and that will put some pressure, and that might see, the cedi again depreciating, against the dollar. But this is quite cyclical. That's what happens normally towards the end of the year. So whilst there is room for some optimism, I doubt this appreciation can be sustained deeply into the last quarter. We are likely to see from November, another round of pressure on the cedi.
Dennis Brown is senior manager at accounting firm Deloitte. Now, Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission has revealed that Ghana is expected to earn about $16 million in 2024 from carbon trading, leveraging on the country's cumulative forest reserves. In an interview with Joy Business, Mr. Alote highlighted the critical role these forest reserves play in boosting the country's economic growth. He made these remarks on the sidelines of the National Policy Dialogue on Forestry Sector in the country, an event also to update the public about the contribution of the forestry sector to the economy.
We are making a lot of, getting a lot of revenue from even, carbon trading, for instance. That's huge. For instance, we signed an emission reduction payment agreement with the World Bank in 2019 for, a period of 6 years, where we can draw down on $50 million. As I speak today, the president announced at the COP last time that we've been able to draw down a little over 4.8 million. This year, we are going to draw down under 16 million.
And John Alote is the Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission. And that's all for Business on Newsnight. And if you had invested in the stock market, investments now is almost more than 38%. Now, that is fairly higher than what you get on the Treasury bills market. And that's all for Business on Newsnight.
Everybody likes money, but what do we like more than money? More money! Join the Telecel More Money promo and win money, more money, and even more money. Simply opt in for free and reload your mobile and broadband and be the lucky winner of the 1 million Ghana cedis grand prize. Also win cash prizes of up to 3 million Ghana cedis in the daily and weekly draw. Opt in for free by dialing *500# or send WIN to 500, or you can opt in on the Telecel Play app. The more you reload, the higher chances of winning in the Telecel More Money promo. Keep loading, win, and be a millionaire.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears. Bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. Me, I go spray them away with whole insecticide spray. When I sleep, me da na ma da with whole insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello, my name is Mami Akua, an entrepreneur and a mother of two. My work keeps me busy most of the time, and sometimes it takes me away from my family. But the safety and health of my family is very important to me. As a working mother, I cannot afford to take any chances when it comes to matters of health. That is why I signed up for a family healthcare plan from Equity Health Insurance. My family and I have access to over 700 hospitals, clinics, opticians, dentists, pharmacies, and diagnostic centers across the length and breadth of Ghana. With Equity Health Insurance, I no longer have to worry about medical bills. Anytime a member of my family visits a hospital, Equity Health Insurance has got my family and I covered. What about you? Who has got you covered?
Call Equity Health Insurance on 050-660-7910 and talk to them about your family health needs now. Visit equityhealthinsurance.com for more information. Equity Health Insurance, here for you.
You are not ready for this. Something big is cooking from Samsung. Ghana, are you ready for up to 30% off? From 26th August to 21st September, Samsung is going all out in the Samsung Blue Tag sales. You get a deal, he gets a deal, she gets a deal, everyone gets a deal. Because with big price slashes, we are letting you go big when you go blue. Everything with a blue tag gets a reduced price tag. From the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra all the way to the A05, nothing is off limits. Nothing. From 26th August to 21st September, the price is pricing at every Samsung shop nationwide. Go big, go blue. Terms and conditions apply.
You're still live here on Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. A few of your messages on our WhatsApp console and the stories you've heard so far. This one says decisions of politicians in their last days in government must be policed by the citizens. We are in desperate times and we should not allow this decision in these times. And another one has no name but says, Evans, you and I do not have the resources to buy shares in this new listed company. If this whole process is consummated, Japa Mensah just let the cat out of the bag. Please do more research on this area. And you might come to the conclusion that such a strategic decision in these last days is not just pure business. Nana Kwama Boating in Ablekuma Central says, I wonder if Ghana is really benefiting from this 8th Parliament Ahmed Ibrahim is speaking without facts except hearsay. I think the NDC MPs should tone down on their propaganda and let facts prevail. And Nana Prempe says that the Galamsey menace persists due to political elites in action. However, some chiefs and security personnel also share the blame. A few of your messages there. Now to the story of Isaiah Amada Ewuku, a student living with physical challenge at the University of Ghana. Despite Isaiah's mobility difficulties, he refuses to let anything stand in the way of his academic dreams. Enjoy his Disabled series. Emmanuel Jivenu of our education desk shares his story of perseverance and ambition, redefining what it means to overcome obstacles.
When I wake up in the morning and since the sun has risen and I am alive, so I know that there is hope.
He wheels himself over a kilometer to reach the mathematics department, navigating the hilly terrain of the campus.
Feel this chair all by myself is very tedious that the department is somehow on a hill, so I have to climb up.
Every week, Isaiah covers about 26 kilometers between his hall of residence and his lecture hall, a grueling journey, but one Isaiah takes without complaint.
If you are not self-motivated, then you can't do anything with disability. I'm determined. I know for sure when I'm able to put in my possible best effort, then God will help me.
Isaiah's commitment to his studies never wavers. He dreams of becoming a statistician.
I even made my colleagues call me professor because I know when I persevere, I'm going to make it in life. My disability cannot be a barrier to my bright future. I have to cover about 1.1 1 kilometer each. In and out for the whole week is about 26 kilometers. If I have electronic wheelchair that I don't have to use maybe my manual power, I think it will help. The last time I asked about the price of the electronic wheelchair, is the lowest you can get is 15,000. My parents cannot afford this because it's expensive.
For Isaiah, the pursuit of knowledge is not just a personal goal. It's a mission to rise above challenges and inspire others.
I want to become a renowned statistician, but mostly my passion is to help my country develop.
Isaiah Amada Awuku's academic journey is a demonstration of resilience, faith, and an unshakable belief that no obstacle is too great to overcome. He's a living proof that disability is not a barrier, but a challenge to be met with grit and grace. Emmanuel Juvenus report for Joy News.
Yes. Yo, what's up?
An inspiring story indeed. I like the yo, what's up? And guess who's joining Ms. Bao? Ms. Bao, what's up?
Evans Black Stars have arrived in Kumasi, currently undergoing their second training session ahead of the game. AFCON qualify against Angola on Thursday. Now, Jordan Ayew and Elisha Owusu are the only notable absentees, and the communications director of the Ghana Football Association, Harry Asante-Chum, says they're expected to join the team latest by tomorrow morning. But here is what's the latest on the team ahead of the game on Thursday.
22 players traveled from Accra to Kumasi. The only two absentees are Jordan Ayew and Elisha Owusu. They will arrive in Accra tonight at 10 p.m. and then they will join us here in Kumasi tomorrow morning. The coaches decided to include one more player, Forsen Amankwa. So Forsen arrived this morning, and so he's part of us here. We've had the likes of Mohamed Kudus, Kingsley Schindler, Abdul Mumin, and a host of others joining us last night. So, and then this morning, Joseph Pintel arrived. So we traveled with 22 players, and the other two will join us tomorrow. Because the schedule is very packed, we may not be able to take part in any social events before the game, but we will try as much as possible and appreciate and acknowledge the fans after 19 minutes. And there is nothing better than winning. There is nothing better than the play.
Yeah, Asante-Chum, communications director of the Ghana Football Association. And even guess who has retired from international football?
Oh, tell me.
It's Luis Suarez, the man who denied.
Finally.
Yeah, of course, Ghanaians do remember him.
Our tormentor in chief.
2010 World Cup, isn't it? Yeah. Well. Yeah.
And then we had an opportunity to sort of get one over him and to avenge, and we failed.
We failed from the penalty spot again. Well, anyway, wish him the best there. Even that's it for sports.
And thank you very much, Ms. Bao. There. Now, as part of efforts to reduce unemployment, Ghanaian electric mobility company Wahoo has begun an initiative aimed at creating 1,000 jobs within just 100 days. The ambitious effort will see 1,000 electric bikes handed out to dispatch riders with payments spread across a period of 2 years. The company hopes the initiative will also help drive Ghana's transition efforts to sustainable mobility. Kenneth JC has more in the following report.
The initiative, dubbed Charged with Jobs campaign, does not only seek to address the immediate need for jobs, but it is also to promote sustainable transportation solutions in Ghana by targeting the delivery service industry, which has seen significant growth due to the rise of e-commerce and on-demand services. Wahoo is hoping to create opportunities for individuals to earn a stable income while also contributing to a greener environment.
People who do delivery on petrol motorbikes give around 80% of their income away on just buying the petrol. So it's not a sustainable way to do business. And what you find is a lot of young people are entering the logistics and courier space to do delivery, but they can't earn a living from it. Our Wahoo e-bike is a hybrid between a motorcycle and a bicycle, which allows delivery riders to do the same number of deliveries as you would on your motorbike in a day, but not spend money on petrol. We're looking to onboard 1,000 delivery riders in the next 100 days across the whole of Ghana.
Some of the beneficiaries that have already signed onto the program spoke to the news team.
It helps in the sense of cutting off costs when it comes to delivery and all of that, and it was very helpful. I mean, I had people that spoke me almost out of it and said, wow, this is quite expensive, this is that. But the fascinating part about it is you beginning this without having to put any amount down as a down payment, and at the end of the day, I fulfilled it, and I'm actually signing up for a second one, because it's also an investment for me.
Well, the payment plan, they give us 2 subscriptions, which is 300 for 2 years and 400 for 1.5 year.
What does that mean?
That mean you'll be every week you'll be paying 300 every week 300 for 2 years, and if you pay 400 a week, that's 1 year and 6 months. So it will make you finish faster.
The program is expected to enhance the efficiency of delivery services across the country, reduce the carbon footprint associated with traditional delivery methods, and provide a reliable means of transportation for many who may not have had access to it otherwise.
Ghana JC filed that report. Now, the Ghana National Fire Service is blaming the nonchalant attitudes of Ghanaians for the numerous fire outbreaks being recorded across the country in recent times. According to the service, over 50 cases were recorded in just the past week alone. Now, firefighters are still grappling with the fire that has ravaged the China House building at Zongo Lane in the capital, Accra, 72 hours after it started. The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Titus Glover, is blaming the owners for negligence. Now, Emmanuel Jivenu has more in the following report.
It's been 3 days, and firefighters are still battling the flames that have engulfed this building. The area has been cordoned from the public, with some shop owners salvaging whatever they can from their stores amidst the distraction. Greater Accra Regional Security Council, led by the Regional Minister Titus Glover, visited the site Tuesday afternoon for first-hand briefing on the inferno.
Some precautionary measures should have been taken. You cannot keep these highly inflammable materials like this. In fact, it's serving also as a warehouse. You need to have a separate place to have these warehouses that you can go and cut them and bring them to the market. But you have the warehouse in the same building, you have your accommodation in the same building, and you have your shops in the same building. So clearly you could see that there is a challenge somewhere, which we need to look at it.
According to him, the integrity of the building has been compromised, hence the need to demolish it for safety reasons.
And structurally, you can see that this building, most of them will have to pull down, because when you look at the integrity of it from hindsight, it's very, very weak.
Director of Operations for the Ghana National Fire Service, Assistant Chief Fire Officer 2, Joseph Kofi Forsen, says the efforts are focused on preventing the fire from spreading to adjacent buildings, but he is unsure when the fire will be completely extinguished.
What we are doing is let's do the effective cooling. Let's give ourselves maybe by today, tomorrow. We see that we have been able to douse the fire. We look at the intensity of the building, the structural intensity of the building. Then we can commit men inside. If, I'm saying if, we can commit men from the peripheries. We enter and we see, then we can totally come out and say that fire has been extinguished.
Meanwhile, some children have taken advantage of the situation, selling nose masks to traders and commuters as the fire continues to emit thick smoke. The government is awaiting the results of a full investigation before taking further action. But for now, the focus remains on controlling the fire and ensuring public safety. Emmanuel Jivenu for Joy News.
And this is your election headquarters. Is always brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams, CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, AICPA, and CIMA together as Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, the German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness and Beauty, Chop Boss Technologies, a convenient service, Youth Break Foundation, Bridging Gaps for Positive Youth Development. And we've been talking to Kayaye about their own perception of the various promises being made, and as a debate about the review of the free SHS policy rages, Rukia, now a graduate who works as a head porter, popularly known as Kayayo in Accra, wants the extended vacations under the double track system reviewed. According to her, she was nearly married off during one of the extended vacations and had to flee from home to Accra. Listen to her story in interaction with my colleague Shola Adeyemi.
Your time is up. Let's go. You go and the gold track will come. You will not even get enough time to study.
So in that 3 months too, you come home and come and be at home. You even come. People will see because it's free education. You are at home for that 3 months. They will bring a motor car and use this one, the rope, and tie you and put it inside the motor car, and they will send you to the place that they want to send you. Means they have married you like that. It's not helping us at all. I have to run to Accra. That was my first time for me being in Accra.
Was it about to happen to you? That's why you ran away?
Yeah, it was about to happen to me because they came and they were calling me to come out. And me too, I don't also want to go out, and they will grab me and go and marry me by force.
And find Just Turned 18 on our social media handles. A full episode is there for you to watch as you hear the Kayaye engage on the many promises that they've had this year from the political parties. And it's time for Geek Squad. Nadobia is here.
Hi, Evans.
What's up tonight?
We are focusing on small businesses, how they can leverage cloud solutions for their business solutions that they have. Yeah.
Okay. Good one. And I'm looking forward to that conversation. Here on Joy 99.7 FM. Enjoy the rest of your evening, but stay tuned for Geek Squad.